Now, if y'all know me, I always talk about efficiency, and that's the name of the game when it comes to filming these reality TV style weddings. And I think Nisi just cracked the code to figuring out how to actually get your ND filter, mist, and polarizer and make it super simple all in one. Today, we're talking about the Nisi Jetmag Pros. Let's get into it.
I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything.
All right, like I said, most ND filters, you can't actually stack them. You end up needing something like a matte box, and inside the matte box, you gotta buy filters, and you gotta keep stacking them, and it just becomes so expensive. And honestly, if you gotta switch lenses, it becomes annoying. These are the Nisi Jetmag Pros, and now what they did here, they actually designed these filters as a magnetic and locking system, which is super crazy. And we're gonna show you here in a second exactly how you do it, but these magnets stay on. I've seen magnet designs in the past, and honestly, what really annoyed me was that if you bump it just a little bit, the whole filter would fall off. And I'm running and gunning at weddings. I don't want that type of stress. I need to know that if I'm in a pickle and I just grab the filter out of my pocket, slap it on the lens, I can at least get my shot and worry about locking it on later. That's where the Nisi Jetmags come in. Today, I'm gonna be talking about the cinema kit and the landscape kit. And honestly, the only big difference between the two is that one, the landscape kit has stronger ND filters. So if you're actually gonna be shooting landscapes or something outside in broad daylight, you're really trying to get that maximum exposure, you're gonna want the landscape kit. With the cinema kit, you're actually gonna get the circular polarizer and the black mist, as well as your 4 ND filters. Now I wanna actually show you these. We're gonna start with the cinema kit. The first thing you'll notice is that these things come in a really nice box. And I'm not gonna lie, when you buy ND filters, most of the time, especially if it's just a constant stop ND filter, you just get some sort of sleeve or something like that. But this literally comes in a nice pouch in the kit. And not only that, but it also stores all of your step-up rings. And trust me, let's be real, we be losing them step-up rings. But now you're not gonna lose them because you got a nice little case. And if you end up buying these filters as a kit or standalone, the extra cases are only 30 bucks. Now, inside both kits or any of the kits on their website, you will get the step-up rings from 67mm all the way up to 82mm, which is super handy. And just one small little side note, if you're going out buying filters right now, always buy the largest filter you can find. So an 82mm is the size of all these Nisi Jetmags, and they actually can step down to any other lens. So if you got a 77, 67, or something like that, you can literally use a step-up ring or step-down ring, whatever you wanna call it, put that on your lens, and then this filter will work. The reason you want to do that is so you're not buying multiple filters in various sizes that only work with certain millimeter front elements. You want to have the largest one and then just adapt it to those smaller lenses. Looking at the design, now these things are crazy thin. I actually talked about this a little bit at ProFusion, and I'm super impressed with that because if we were to just compare the two, this is the Peter McKinnon ND with the circular polarizer and the 2 to 5 stop ND. And then this is literally 6 filters, a front cap and a back cap from Nisi. So as you can see, these things are crazy thin. And one thing you'll notice is that all the filters are color coded. So it's a little bit easier to determine once you have them all stacked up in this block like this. You're easily able to look and see that all your blue tabs are gonna be your ND filter, your gold tab is gonna be your mist, and your silver tab is gonna be your circular polarizer. Now the way you actually use these, they are magnet locked, so they actually do attach with the magnet. As you can see here, it will attach to itself. But then when you rotate them all on end, where the little tabs are facing up, that's actually what locks them into place. So all these other ones that are actually rotated out aren't locked into the system. So if we turn all these like this, boom, boom, and boom, now they're all locked and they won't actually come off. To actually remove one, you literally just turn it a little bit and pop it off, and it's done. Comparing this to my Polar Pro one, this is a single-handed operation because you can literally reach around or hold the camera with one hand, reach around and pop these filters off. My favorite thing about using ND filters that are constant stops like this is that you're not gonna have any type of issues with like X factoring or color shifting or anything like that because you don't have the variation or the variable aspect of these filters. Now to use these is just like any other filter with the exception that you don't actually thread the filters on. You're gonna thread on the actual step-up ring. So we pop back in here. Again, you have the 67 all the way up to 82mm. We're gonna pop this bad boy off. And then this actually just has a little magnet. You can kind of see the ring on the inside. And this is what actually attaches to the filters. You'll actually just thread this onto the front of the lens. And then once that's threaded on, there's one thing I want to show you. There is a little white tab at the front and the bottom, or the top and the bottom. And that's basically your indication of knowing where the lock placement is. Because these filters can lock, there's no specific orientation or direction that you have to put them onto the cap in order to get them to lock. You can literally put these on in any direction that you want. So we're gonna actually pop one off. This one here is the ND64, a little overkill for inside here. But literally, like I said, you just pop it on anywhere. And then if I wanted to lock it, I just rotate it over those white tabs and then it's locked into place. The cool thing about this is that these magnets are crazy freaking strong. Like, I'm not even just trying to hype this up. It don't fall off. That's impressive because when I'm running and gunning, I literally like to have my filter, like let's say I'm in the bridal suite, I'd be like, oh snap, I don't need the filter, pop that in my pocket, I'm shooting. Oh snap, we walk outside, boom, pop it back on and I'm good to go. I know that that magnet is literally locking into place. And if I want that extra peace of mind, rotating it so it's pointing up or right above my white tab, now I know for sure that it's literally locked into place. But these magnets don't fall off. And that's one of the first things that I noticed that truly impressed me because I wanted a way to be able to stack my filters while at the same time not having to worry about them falling off if I bumped it or accidentally like shook the camera too hard. I'm running on the easy rig. I just wanted it to stay. Speaking of stacking the filters, now that's probably the best thing about these. If you buy one of the other variable ND filter variations from other manufacturers, you're stuck with that, or you have to take that entire ring off and pop on another one. With these are infinitely stackable, which is crazy. Like literally, I have the ND64 on here right now. I can pop on 2 more NDs if I wanted to, and then just keep adding to the kit. It would help if I put this on the right direction. Literally just keep adding to the kit. So now I've got 3 ND filters all stacked on top of each other. Now you're probably wondering, why would I even want to do that? Well, hear me out. Whenever I'm shooting with my anamorphics, I usually end up using one of those 3 to 5 stop ND filters, and it's never quite enough. So I end up having to stop down quite a bit just to get that exposure. With this, I have my ND 2, 3, 4, and 6 stops, and I can stack those. I can have an ND 2 and then grab my ND 3 and get 5 stops. Or I can take my ND 3 and my ND 4 and get 7 stops. 4, 5, 6, 7. The beauty in doing this is that you're not locked into only using one filter at a time. On top of that, I can also keep my mist and my circular polarizer. The way that you would want to do that is honestly, you would pop these off, and then we would want to go with, let's say, our circular polarizer. This is our polarizer, yep. So you can always tell because, again, you got these color tabs. So I can pop my polarizer on. And since my polarizer, I know I'm going to want to spin, you're going to want this on the front of all your filters. So we'll save that one. And then let's grab the other, let's grab the mist. So my black mist, I know I'm not going to have to spin this to add the intensity or change it like you do with the polarizer. And if I'm using NDs or not, I always want my mist on my lens. So what I'm gonna do is just put this at the very back, and I'm actually gonna lock this one in so that it doesn't come off the lens. From there, I can add whatever ND filters that I want. Since my polarizer is always gonna be the one that I want at the front because I'm spinning this, or it's gonna be a little bit easier, I could literally just slap this on here, or I can add ND filters and then just keep adding and add the polarizer in front of it. So for here, we're gonna add this ND filter like that. Boom, I just love, it's so satisfying. Like, look at that, it literally just pops right up. So dang good. But anyways, I got my ND on there. Now I can take my polarizer, pop my polarizer on, and then the beauty is I can literally just spin these as I need to. All I know is that when it's time to pop one of the filters off, I can literally pop them all by unlocking or leaving it locked into place and then just pulling the top 2 off. Again, with 3 filters on though, that's how strong the magnets are. These are really impressive, and to be this thin is honestly like, it makes no sense. I love it. I love that they don't fall off, and I love that they're super tiny and you can keep stacking on top of them. Now, I honestly feel like there's 2 types of people on this world. One is gonna always use a filter. Regardless of what you're shooting, you always got your filters close on standby. The other person is like, I don't need filters, I'm just gonna crank my shutter speed. To each his own. I'm not telling you what to do, but I am saying that this is probably the best value in filters that you can get. And that's honestly how I think I want to start recommending products, is based on the value, not necessarily the brand or what all comes with it, but the value. To get so many filters, even in the cinema kit, they have other kits like the filmmaker kit as well. And you can get so many filters for the cost, and they're stackable, so you can actually get more variations or more use cases for a fraction of the cost when you compare that to some of the other higher name brand variable ND filters or even other standard ND filters. Just a few more things to point out so that you're aware of it. If you end up picking up one of these kits, you can actually buy additional front and back caps at a later time. So the way that we actually run them is I have these on my Nikons, and then I actually have the rings on all the cameras. So all I gotta do is pop filters off. But you can buy additional filters and additional front and back caps and end up just using the Nisi front cap as your actual lens cap. So now I don't have to take my filters off my camera just to put my front cap back on. And that's pretty much all I got. I know filters are not that exciting, but honestly, once you start using them, you start becoming a fan of them. And if I gotta be honest, I definitely think there is a difference than just cranking your shutter speed and using ND filters. There's something about ND filters that really helps soften that highlight roll off. This might be something I'm making up, but I just feel like it actually looks so much more pleasing. And anytime someone sends me a film, I can almost spot right away, you don't use ND filters because all of your highlights are like sharp. I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense to me. Anyways, that's all I got for this video. If you have any questions about this that I didn't answer in this video, leave them down in the comment section below. If you're interested in checking out these Nisi Jetmags, I'll also leave links to these down in the description. And until the next video, y'all keep creating, grab yourself some filters, and I'll see you in the next one.
I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know.